401 Files is a YouTube channel delving deeply into the peculiar side of the planet, unexplained species, unusual sightings, UFOs, thus all things paranormal. If you enjoy such kind of material, his videos, definitely worth looking at. In this one, he returns to Dalby Forest, a site he visited previously. Indeed, the same Dalby Forest, today well known for some quite sinister activities. We are discussing reports of dogmen, odd lights in the heavens, even tales of mutilated animals. Indeed, in some legends, individuals too. Situated on the east coast of Britain, this forest has developed a dark reputation throughout time, and tonight he intends to spend the whole evening there. As the sun begins to sink, searching for the ideal location to build up camp, he enters the forest with simply Lily, his dog, at side. Nevertheless, here's the important point. Once evening sets in, something changes. Your vision grows less clear. Your hearing is now more keen. And your mind? It starts to stray. Every rustle in the shrubs, every shadow between the trees, feels like something is out there. And really? Possibly there is. They choose a location at last and settle in for the evening. It does not, however, remain silent for very long.
There's some lights over there in the distance. I'm not sure what that is. My initial thought, well, that's Lily, obviously the green one, and she's really close to me, but those two white lights seem really far from the distance. My original thought just then was maybe a road, but they don't seem to be moving. And they're not constant, they keep going on and off, and one of them just got really bright, so I have no idea what that is. Try and zoom in.
Suddenly, odd lights begin to show up, far away. Not illumination from headlights, not among stars. These lights, flickering, changing brightness, even changing colors, from green to blue to something in between. And they were hovering, low to the earth, devoid of any obvious source, not flying in the heavens. He did not approach to investigate them, but the sight stayed with him. He could not get rid of that. Even once the woodland fell quiet once more, that something was observing, or perhaps waiting. Dalby Forest has always had unusual legends about it, but right now, he had something to contribute to the list. What then? Do you suppose the lights were natural, man-made something? Was it something not from this world? This next clip puts us right into Brazil's wild woodlands, alongside Luca and Yuri, from the channel Caçadores das Sombras. These two nowadays, they do not merely narrate ghost stories. They sprint, straight ahead, into them. They are well known for surpassing expectations. They pursue urban legends, visit haunted sites, and capture every spine-chilling second for their viewers. And in this incident, they were not isolated. They brought a few close friends along and ventured far into a forest, claimed to be home for something horrible, an animal like a werewolf. Those that live close claim that it only occurs after dark. They discuss brilliant eyes, a huge dark figure, a mass of shadows, with a presence so great it seems to vanish into thin air. The crew set up camp exactly in the middle of October 14th, 2021. Tonight, it was quiet, almost too silent. Still, something changed. They froze.
Olha lá, olha lá.
Mostra aí, Lucão. Eu vou botar pra gravar.
Põe pra gravar, põe pra gravar.
Dá pra ver melhor aí? Tá gravando?
O que é? Vê o que é. É ele mesmo?
É ele, velho. É ele?
Deixa eu ver.
Ó ele aqui no meio das rodas.
Olha o tamanho dele, velho.
Ó, tá acompanhando, não dá pra tirar, velho.
Tá sem visão.
As they moved among the heavy trees, they observed it, just for a moment. Between the branches, an outline, large and peculiar. One instant passed, then the next. Not one step. Silence. Just that intense sensation. Something was right there. Observation. And simply, as such, the forest did not seem so vacant anymore. Claire is a total nature lover, a single mother, and a solitary camper. Usually, her channel covers calm walks, tranquil evenings under the stars, and leisurely outdoor settings. But this time, everything seemed different.
Trying something a bit different today, so I'm going to be camping at a creepy church with a history of satanic ritual, witchcraft. So yeah, this is Wild Bear coming to you from Clop Hill. Woo! Satanic rituals. Over the years, people have dug up bones and all sorts from graves. There's been a murder down on the A6 known as the A6 murder. That's the road just over there, I believe. So yeah, lots has happened here, and understandably the church has been closed for overnight visitors, and there are cameras and alarms everywhere. So I've been up to have a look at the church, and I'm staying somewhere nearby where I feel like I won't be disturbed. Yeah, I like this little bit of woods. Don't think I'll be disturbed here. I'm gonna do a bivvy today, so really stay off. I've not got another shelter if it rains, just a bivvy, so I think it's gonna be a nice night actually. Just gotta wait around till it gets dark. See if there's any spooky noises tonight.
Halloween prompted her to choose to go a little darker. She set up camp, surrounded by eerie tales, close to an old abandoned church. People discuss unusual symbols, satanic ceremonies, even a murder that occurred nearby.
Apart from some odd noises, I can't report of anything so far. While we're on the subject of weird stuff, there is a controversial video of what is claimed to be a ghost in St Mary's Church, taken in 2016, and it shows a black hooded figure walking past the door of the church. So if you Google Clop Hill Church monk ghost, I'm sure that will come up. And it's a really creepy video actually, but you know, that could quite easily have been staged. So, but if you guys that like the ghost stuff, have a look at that.
Indeed, even now, the start seems eerie already. Thanks to all the turmoil the church has seen over the years, it itself is locked tightly. Alarms, cameras, the works. Thanks. Claire thus brought her bivvy right inside the surrounding forest, hoping for a calm evening. She began researching the local past while she waited for the sun to set. Let us also remark that it did not help her relax. Stories of bones being unearthed close to historic cemeteries, whispers of ghostly entities seen late at night, and odd stories that have plagued this location for years.
Okay. I've lost my bed. How have I lost my bed? Getting into a bivvy bag is always such a graceful thing. So lumpy.
She looked about a little, picked some food, then slipped into her sleeping bag and attempted to unwind, but it occurred.
There's the moon. So pretty. Good night, wild ones. See you in the morning. See the red eyes over there? I'm just gonna assume they were deer eyes. Freaky. Really freaky. I don't like the red eyes.
At that point, low, far-off sounds began to reverberate from the surrounding trees, distinctly weird, and subsequently, she noticed something. Two brilliant red eyes observing her from far into the forest. Frozen, she attempted to understand it. Perhaps a deer, perhaps the light coming from her red headlamp, bouncing back. She spoke it aloud, attempted to remain composed. Even she, though, did not sound totally persuaded.
I keep telling myself it's just because I had my red light on my head torch, that's why the eyes look red. And if I had the white light on, they would have just been white, because they're just deer eyes.
Given those eyes, they failed to blink. Their movement lacked the typical of any animal. They observed, simply, and whatever they were, she felt something she could not shake. After they went. Exploring with Bear posted one of its most disturbing investigations to date on June 10, 2025, delving viewers deep into the heart of Helltown, Ohio, where urban folklore, ghost stories, and allegations of satanic activity mix. What started out as a standard truck camping expedition quickly turned into a terrifying encounter with something or someone, maybe still active, in one of the most notorious barns in paranormal mythology.
What is it? What is it? Is that a person?
Hey, how's it going? Sorry, was I blinding you?
We made it to the curve here, up at the end, and all you heard was a bunch of coyotes just getting tore up by something.
Holy smokes, man. I just mentioned on camera, have you ever heard of the Wendigo?
Yeah.
That's supposed to be like one of the big things around
We've been
here.
seeing stuff all night. I have a tendency to bring stuff out. So
Do you? And
yes,
we're
I
like
do.
going in right after you.
Yes, I do. So we were on the opposite end,
Sweet.
and we had a tree, a full tree, snapped right in front of us, and then vanished.
Holy
Like it never
smokes.
snapped.
Was you guys trying to make it back to the satanic barn there?
Yeah, we were actually.
that's-
Did you
The
make
one-
it? Oh, you
no.
didn't make it though,
No,
huh?
that's where- I
With
think
those
that's where
packs.
the coyotes are at.
And they were getting mauled by something.
Something.
Yeah, something. They were in pain. They were.
Oh my
dying,
goodness.
man.
Jakey, what do you think, man? All right, you guys have a safe night, and thanks for that. That just made this so much more terrifying.
The film began with Bear and Jakey coming along a couple on the trail who had driven 3.5 hours to investigate the same demonic barn, visibly disturbed. The couple tells the researchers they turned around after hearing what sounded like coyotes being mauled alive, then heard disturbing noises of a tree snapping and disappearing in front of them. This meeting defines the direction of the research right away. They are approaching something strong and yet unidentified. Against the advice Bear and Jakey keep on, toward the barn. They often see flashes of light, trail-based activity, and unnerving sounds in the gravel, implying someone or something could be following them along the road.
What's that? That's still wet?
Yeah. That goes there. That's what they use.
Yeah, so they were using that. They're painting something. Maybe this over. Look, oh, there's. Look at that. Wait. That is still. Look at that. Oh my goodness, man. Somebody
was just here.
just here. Those people didn't come back here.
Yeah.
They said they got turned scared. Look at that. Hello? Are they up there? Are you up there? You know what? Oh my goodness, man. I just thought of this. What if it was the people that was just taken or whatever? And that's what they heard. Because this paint, man, this has just been done.
Local mythology holds the barn itself to be the scene of frequent paranormal activity, animal and human sacrifices, and demonic rites. The researchers discover wet paint, fresh marks, and what looks to be blood on a towel, still moist as they get closer, implying someone has been there quite lately.
It was all ripped up. Look at how the floor was burnt too. That's a big hole.
None of that fell.
Huh?
None of that just fell.
You wonder how. Oh, why am I? That's only got one thing on it. Oh my goodness. I can't be using this now. We're gonna need that for the walk, man. Jakey, hold on, man.
What is that?
I don't know, but look, there's
That's
all over that. Is that blood on that towel, man? That's blood, man.
whoa.
No way.
Yeah.
Hey, that's still wet. Come on. You okay? You okay? Hey, take your time. Take your time. Keep that light out in front of us. Wait a minute. Man, there's somebody around here, dude.
Bear discovers what he believes to be an animal bone at one point, and Spirit Talker, an app meant to interact with spirits, spits out terrifying words such as domination, frustration, and death. The Spirit Talker curses Bear. When he probes whether anyone is still in the barn, he states something that has only happened to him exactly here. Their discovery of a towel with fresh, moist blood, which is verified, is among the most unsettling events. It is evident by the scent and the menacing spirit reactions that they could be invading something still under progress. The idea comes to Bear in a flash. Could the pair they encountered earlier have unintentionally stopped a real ritual? And in such case, are the offenders still close by? Their lights and batteries start to suddenly fail. As the inquiry goes on, the two hear footsteps on gravel, whistles, and odd sounds. From the darkness, they record what appears to be a black form moving, and note, from past footage, that a bush in the route has apparently materialized out of nowhere.
Just go, just go. Oh, look at that moon. It's like a blood moon.
Of course it is, honestly.
It's a blood moon too. Here, hold my flag. Here, turn it off actually. Let me see if I can get that for him. It's a blood moon right now.
It's after 3 a.m. right now. 3:15. Quarter after 3. So it was close to 3 when all that was happening. You know? That makes it a little more creepy, man. It was like the witching hour pretty much and all that. Oh, that was you. Was that you?
What? What?
It was like a... I don't know. I'm just going to call it was you. We're just going to say, I got too much spinning in my head right now.
The apparition of a crimson moon, which Bear catches on camera during 3:15 a.m., the witching hour, is maybe most sinister. This matches the height of the action and implies, even more, a powerful supernatural presence. The spirit talker then says a last, terrifying word. Deadly. Clearly scared. Bear and Jakey hide in their truck. This night truly disturbs seasoned detectives, even if they are professionals. By the end of the movie, it is abundantly evident that this was not just any ghost hunt. Rather, it was a direct meeting with the unknown, and maybe a glimpse into something far more dangerous than legend. Whether paranormal, cult-connected, or a horrific mix of both. What Bear and Jakey encountered that night in Helltown begs the disturbing question: who or what is currently using that barn?
A quarry that sits abandoned, nestled in the middle of nowhere in Derbyshire, was once used for cutting, shaping and finishing ornamental stone. That's not why I'm visiting this place tonight though. A few weeks ago, 4 hooded figures were seen leaving this place as a paranormal team were just arriving. The paranormal team hung about a bit to make sure the hooded figures had left, then entered the quarry. They found signs that a ritual had taken place and soon come to realise that something may have been summoned. 20 minutes into their investigation, they needed to get out. Naturally, I want to go investigate.
A long-abandoned quarry in Derbyshire is the site of this 4th paranormal investigation, which was uploaded to the Fort Spooky YouTube channel on January 24, 2025. Originally a typical ghost search, it rapidly devolves into a terrifying and erratic sequence of events, anchored in recent frightening tales of ritual activity and enigmatic hooded people. The researchers, Susie and Sean, observe right away their discomfort, odd sounds, distant voices, and the strong sense of not being alone. Sean has visited several times. Susie is fresh to the area. This familiarity only heightens her anxiety as she relates earlier events and the site's ominous reputation. Susie and Sean start looking for signals of a presence as they enter. Faintish sounds, knocks, footsteps, far-off voices start resounding across the stone walls almost instantly. Some sounds are thundering, others are subdued.
Okay, so me and Sean are paranormal investigators and we're trying to prove that there's life after death. And we really want you to help us with that tonight. If you've done anything, thank you, but we do need confirmation that it's you. So if you could, bless you, if you could throw something again, really hard, it would help us know that you're here. Did it?
Yeah, like a little light flash out, really small.
What was that?
I don't know, it's like that's a metal tinking.
Yeah, or glass, like a bit of glass being thrown, or tile, or... Can you be a bit louder?
Susie begs for a sign, which causes a loud bang. Close by, once they start looking for thrown objects, the sound is too intense to be unintentional, even if they find nothing obvious. Their demand for a whistle or another loud noise to verify the presence of a creature raises the suspense. Not too long later, glass-like clinks are heard, then whispering and inexplicable movement. Both researchers report a strong sense of anxiety, and Susie says she feels surrounded, watched over, or evaluated constantly. The tone gets deeper when they find a lately used candle. They wonder whether it related to those numbers, and consider whether they have inadvertently come onto something more profound and maybe hazardous. They saw a black creature crawling or crouched at one point. Then later, a form darts over another building's top story. Their cameras record motion they cannot explain, and they hear what sounds like human conversation, more especially female voices, even though they are alone in a remote area. Seeking to change the vibe, the pair proceeds to a second structure in the quarry.
Just do something nice and loud to let us know that you're here.
It's been evil, it's been violent. And it's not nice feeling here at all.
No. It's just some empty buildings. Like, why is it so nasty?
We're going to time capsules that could have things connected to them all the time.
Yeah.
And yet, I don't ever feel I've just literally seen something where I swear something just ran across and was up there.
Hello?
I'm seeing more in here than I did in that other building.
Yeah, you've seen, well, something's crouched down there, haven't you?
Yeah.
And now something ran across up there.
Yeah, and it was actually a proper, but it weren't an animal or anything, it was a proper person because it looked like there was going like that.
Like creeping across?
Yeah.
Well, it's not living because that's not safe.
No.
Even if the environment is calmer, they still perceive disturbing noises, including someone or something running. Notwithstanding these disruptions, they note that the mood is less repressive than the main structure, but the tranquility is fleeting. They choose to go back to the first building to check if the activity picks up once more.
With it not being constant, we decide though to brave it and go back into the other building that we started off in. We didn't last long. Oh, what?
Serious.
Hang on. What is that?
I can't say it because we're on the line.
That's rope.
Yeah?
That's rope.
Put two and two together.
We need to go. No. Was that there when we came in?
I'm just going to put it on the line, guys. That's definitely what I think it is.
No. I don't even remember seeing that. Just to let you guys know, that rope was there when we first came in. We just didn't spot it when we first came in, but I did go back onto my footage and saw that it was already there. But I will be returning because I did enjoy this investigation, and I'm going to go on a less windier night.
Their anxiety comes back as soon as they re-enter. This time, they come upon something they had never seen before. A rope, hanging ominously from a beam. The weight of their circumstances strikes at the same instant. This could be more than a haunting. Sean's voice sharpens, and Susie instantly begs they go, seeing the rope as a terrible emblem, maybe placed behind by the hooded figures. Susie later verifies from video that the rope had been there from the start, but was missed. Still, the psychological effects of knowing what it could represent are indisputable. The reference to sacrifice, first thrown around half-jokingly, seems far-fetched. The team is rocked but resolved, At the conclusion of the probe, Susie says she wants to go back, but only in calm weather. They record a spectrum of events on the video: responsive knocks, murmured words, thrown objects, dark forms, and the frightening implication of ritualistic intent. This site is haunted, not only by spirits, but also by the sensation that something darker has been awakened and might still be observing. John, a seasoned urban adventurer who has been diving into abandoned locations since February 2016, runs the YouTube channel Exploration Unknown and provides this next terrifying film. He has investigated everything: old hospitals, dilapidated homes, long abandoned structures, always dragging his audience along for every frightening trip into the unknown. However, in March of 2019, one of those excursions nearly came off as disastrous. John had fellow adventurer Tim on this specific trip. Their intended location: a dilapidated house with a dark past. Years after she lost her kid, locals murmured about a mother who had committed herself there. A terrible and eerie narrative. But as they would shortly discover, the actual threat within that house was not ghostly. It had been the house itself.
It's a deep drop. These floors are not very stable.
Hear it?
Yeah. You guys check out that fireplace.
If that falls, dude, I don't know what it's going to do to the rest of this house.
Yeah, I know, because that's a load-bearing wall out there.
That's going to be a lot of weight to hit this floor. I'm really nervous about that right there.
Yeah, and look at the ceiling.
We need to get out of here before that happens.
The warning signals were there almost as soon as they entered. Every footfall caused the floorboards to creak. There were splits running across the ceiling, and aspects of the floor totally lacking. They even noted a load-bearing wall close to the antique fireplace that appeared to be, at any second, likely to collapse. Still though, they persisted. Then, things started to go bad.
Alright guys, I think we've decided to chance it. What do you think, Tim? I think we talked about it.
It hasn't moved anymore.
Let's just stay away from that area.
Yes.
Let's go back here to the room where the wife. You didn't fall through the floor, did you?
No, but it cracked a little.
Oh man, there's a crib in here. Oh shoot.
Okay.
Oh
You all right?
shit, yeah. Well, I just fell through the floor. Ow, God.
You alright, man?
Oh shit,
We need to go.
We gotta get out of here.
John, meandering across the second level. He sensed it. The floor under him changed abruptly, then gave out. He came shockingly near, but he did not drop all the way through. The board cracked under his weight, and it looked as though he may tumble right into the basement. He escaped a major fall only by rapidly changing his weight. Still, it was close, way too near. Shaken, Tim and John both agreed. That was it. Time for out. Every back-off toward the exit served as a reminder of simply his great fortune in still being standing. This next one comes from Owen, an 18-year-old YouTuber who runs the channel Exploring with Owen. He's got a real passion for the paranormal and everything unexplained. And lately he's been diving into haunted places, sometimes with friends, but often totally alone. On November 9th, 2024, he attempted one of his boldest adventures yet,
I'm gonna be camping overnight in the forest by myself. As you can see, I'm still packing my stuff. I have my clothing in here, I have an air mattress and a lantern in this backpack, and I've got my power bank charging right here. And over here, I have my tent.
A solo overnight camp, deep in the forest, near his home. Even though the winter air was freezing, Owen came prepared. Tent, supplies, camera gear. He was ready for anything, or so he thought, but the forest had other plans.
Alright guys, I just got dropped off with all my stuff, but I was walking just barely with my stuff and I heard a giant crash over there, over in that direction. It literally sounded like a tree falling over. I don't know what that was. I just really hope there's not people in this forest, because that actually scared me so bad.
Just minutes into his hike, he heard a loud crash nearby, the kind that stops you in your tracks. Right then, he probably knew. This night wasn't going to be the peaceful campout he'd hoped for.
Now guys, I'm probably gonna inflate my air mattress and set up my bed. I just heard sticks now. I'm not even kidding. It came from like over that way. I'm hoping that's just the wind. Was that a gunshot? I literally think I just heard a gunshot. I don't know if that picked up on camera. I hope it did. Bro, I don't want this to be a scary video. It's just supposed to be solo camping. Anyways, what I was gonna say is that once I lay down and my weight disperses, it's just fine.
About 30 minutes in, he found a flat clearing and set up his tent. He gave his viewers a quick tour of his gear, tried to settle down, but you could tell his nerves were already on edge. Then, a twig snapped right outside his tent. Not long after, a sharp crack echoed through the trees. Maybe a distant gunshot. It wasn't caught on camera, but it hit Owen hard. This was his first night ever camping alone, and already, things felt off. He tried to keep calm, had some dinner, watched a few videos on his phone, and eventually turned off the camera to rest. But around 2 a.m., everything changed.
Guys, I just woke up. It's like 2 a.m. and I just heard footsteps outside of the tent. Literally woke me up. It was so loud. They went away though.
He woke up to the sound of footsteps, slow, heavy, circling the tent, crunching through frozen leaves like something or someone was pacing outside, grabbing his flashlight. He stepped out to look around, but there was nothing. No people, no animals, just silence. Shaken, but trying to stay brave. He went back inside, and that's when the footsteps came again. This time, they were caught on camera.
Hello?
Clear as day, the sound of something moving around his camp, just out of sight. But still, no one ever appeared. Eventually, the fear set in, too deep. Whatever was out there, it didn't want to be seen. And Owen, he'd had Enough. With his heart racing, he packed up his things and left the forest behind. In a video posted by It's Bates, the YouTuber records a late-night excursion with pal Martin, visiting a site they had not visited recently. Filmed in early September, the video moves fast from laid-back vlogging to an uncomfortable and inexplicable experience.
Alright bro, what we doing today?
Bro, what's up guys? Right now, me and Martin, of course, posted up behind the cameras. You know, we're just gonna vlog and like see what happens.
Dude, it's super creepy. We haven't been here in a long time,
bro. No, I haven't been behind the camera like so long, guys.
Same, bro. Dude, this place is like as creepy as I remember it being.
Yeah. So yeah, we're just gonna walk right now. You know, see where the trail leads us.
Dude, your camera is like flashing red. Did you not charge it? Alright, it's mid-July, bro. It's hot as hell out right now.
What is this? Do you guys hear that? What?
That was that noise I heard from like way back there. Wait, let's go close.
There. You know, hear that? That was like something like, you know, rustling in the freaking grasses.
Wait, where?
Right here. But it literally could be the deer, but like, you know, it's still creepy.
The film opens with the two friends catching up behind the camera, laughing, and reminiscing about their past trip to the region when they came over one of their earlier cursed videos. The location seems just as eerie as they remembered, even though it is mid-July and scorching. Things start to veer quite rapidly, almost immediately. The camera records something that seems and then disappears in a few seconds. As they stroll along the route, Bates later notes the abnormality during the video editing, recreating the scene at highest volume, and urges us to pay great attention, even if it is not obvious to the unaided eye at the time. Almost electronic, or whispered, a distorted voice or sound seems to arise, soon following a ruffle in the grass. Their lack of notice of it gave the video a retroactive eeriness. The scene changes structure as the evening deepens. The two, now on a bike, start hearing terrifying alien sounds far past midnight.
It's like past midnight right now. You know, we're just here with the bikes. The bike.
Just put it here. We have been hearing this like weird ass noise.
We just came from Sam's place.
Down there.
Place. And now, as we were going home, listen guys. What is that? What do you think is that? Sounds like a...
Sounds like a... I thought that was a cat at first though.
Yeah.
I'm like actually weirded out right now. Yeah. Dude,
You hear that, guys, right?
There's someone there.
It's like luring us. Let's go a little bit further.
I swear there's like people here.
It first seems like a cat, but it develops rapidly into something louder and more strange. Though it travels, tempting them farther, the sound seems to be emanating from the tree line. Their voices show real panic, and even Bates remarking that it seems as though somebody is trying to pique their interest.
Hey, come out!
What's an animal, bro?
Well, what animal is making that noise right now?
Bro.
Dude, don't tell me that's blood.
Oh, wait. It's red. What the f? This one also. Hello?
Wait, that's coming from like up there. Maybe we're overreacting. I still hear people, you know?
I feel like Face Road right now.
Dude, I know. Dude, you hear that? That's like someone actually screaming.
Where is it?
Just now it was coming from there.
We were like, come here, get this guy. We were like way back, like.
Yeah, we were like
behind the house.
200 meters maybe. It's like, what time it is? It's like almost 1 a.m. or something. Yeah.
12:39, which means it's 1 a.m. Bro, I hear screaming.
What?
Bro, what the is going on? What?
Like triangle.
Oh yeah. Bro, it's louder.
That's
It's on the ground. No, it's literally going further. It's like telling us to go somewhere.
Their discovery of what appears to be blood on the ground changes the charged environment. By now, the sense of danger gets much more intense. The silence is broken suddenly by a high-pitched scream ringing over the space. The sound moves places, getting louder and closer, then dragging away once more. The two become briefly insane. Following the noise, they comment on how it is guiding them and start to nearly be directed, as if someone or something is controlling their motions. One especially vivid moment occurs when they see a flashing triangle of light on the ground, moving farther away with every instant, as though it were drawing them toward it. But something instinctual strikes. They turn and flee, confused by a mix of adrenaline, terror, and uncertainty.
Hi, bro.
What's good, guys? We were here yesterday.
Dude, you hear that?
1 a.m., something like that.
Yeah. But guys, yeah, we're back here. As you can see, this place goes on for like very long. They're like houses back there.
Look what Martin spotted earlier, guys. What the heck is that?
Like all sorts of like clothes. And look, there's like shoes here, clothes. It could be just like someone dropping off, you know, old clothes. And guys, look, this is the like thing we saw earlier, yesterday. Yeah, I don't know what the thing is.
Well, you can't even get close to it. Look, there's no path, literally.
I don't know what is that.
Or maybe like...
It could be whatever though.
And it
oh! Boy, that's the same
that's
noise.
the same sound.
Yesterday we heard it like... Guys, look, there's like 3 meters tall. That's like 8 feet tall or something. It looks like a cornfield, bro.
Let me know though.
Bates goes back to the same spot with Martin, following day, in daylight, to probe more. Under the sun, the territory seems less dangerous. They discover shoes and clothes scattered close to the forest line, presumably dumped, but too eerily positioned to go overlooked. They also find the same odd thing or structure from the night before, an inaccessible form amid the thick vegetation, encircled by 8-foot-tall plants. Abruptly, even in daylight, the same sound from the previous night bursts through the air. Whether supernatural or not, the mix of environmental tension, the uncertainty, is what stays. The impression that someone out there was observing, maybe even waiting. Like always, I will let you draw your own conclusions about this experience as well. Venture dog Wes embark off a 3-day van life road trip across British Columbia, Canada, with a twist in this especially unnerving meeting on YouTube travel. Every stop, path, and activity would be scheduled totally using ChatGPT. Originally a fun AI-assisted travel experiment, what started off as lighthearted quickly became somewhat hostile.
Hey everyone, we've been in Canada exploring beautiful British Columbia now for a couple of days on our way up to the Stewart-Cassiar Highway to start our journey up to Alaska. Between where we are right now and the start of the Cassiar, we have several hundred miles and we really don't know much about the area. It's so big and so vast and there's just a ton of different options. So we decided it might be fun to ask AI or ChatGPT where to go.
Having seasoned van lifers since 2024, the pair left over control of their plan to the AI, asking it for picturesque drives, free campsites, pet-friendly hikes, and, of course, a spot to discover Canada's best poutine. Barron Lake Provincial Park was the first advised stop, but events did not go as expected. Arriving, the park seemed closed, with signs indicating it was out of season and under road repair. No rangers, no other campers, no one else around. Even if the surroundings were lovely, the site's emptiness made it seem more abandoned than peaceful. This turned into the first red flag on their AI-guided trip. A crucial error, the campground not being free as asked, or even open for the season. Not deterred, they looked for a different place using a reliable camping app called Campendium, and came upon a remote BC leisure area beside a creek. It was quiet, calm, and lovely.
Unfortunately, that other site didn't pan out that ChatGPT recommended. Not only was it not free, it was 18 Canadian dollars per night. It was also not open yet for the season, and it was over an hour out of the way, so definitely not along the route. So when that didn't pan out, I did some research on one of my favorite apps to use for finding free campsites in Canada. That is Campendium, and came across this recreation site, which is amazing. We're excited to stay here for the evening. You may be wondering why we didn't do this research ourselves to begin with, but it's kind of just like an experiment to see where ChatGPT is going to lead us. And I think that's half of the fun. Hopefully tomorrow we have a little bit better luck.
Initially, they observed evidence of local fauna, including fresh beaver marks on surrounding trees. Setting up a trail camera and settling up for a night of cooking and leisure, they hoped to catch the beavers in action. What really made this vacation strange and unforgettable?
Got our first knock.
First knock.
5 o'clock. Why did he want?
He wanted to know what time it was.
Why?
Hey, I don't know if that's really what he wanted, but that's all he's gonna get.
What does he want? It's only 5:30 in the morning.
I don't think he really knows what's going on. He looks a little lost. There's a tent over here now that wasn't here when we went to bed. He just looks really confused.
The following morning, someone knocked on their van door about 5 in the morning. This was not another camper, nor a ranger, disoriented and without a phone. This man asked for the time. They had not spotted his tent the night before, yet now it was suddenly there, thrown up close, and caused major questions. Emily was obviously disturbed, while Brian tried to remain cool and reasoned that the man might have been dumped off following a protracted night out. They chose not to participate beyond the quick exchange, confining themselves in the van and monitoring their surroundings until they decided to leave. The trail cam did definitely show the man coming out of his tent, strolling to their van, apparently verifying he was simply lost and confused. Still, there was anxiety and discomfort.
All right, well,
Everything worked out.
let's try and find this restaurant that has been recommended by ChatGPT on our little ChatGPT field trip that we're on. I tried to look it up. It's called Majestic Restaurant Ltd. here in Houston on Highway 16. And I couldn't find anything about it except for a very old yellow page listing. So I'm skeptical that this restaurant is still
A restaurant?
a restaurant. But let's go find out.
All right.
Let's see.
So, if there was a Majestic restaurant, there is a hotel over here. Maybe it was part of that hotel at one point. It looks very unused, and I don't think that is going to be the best poutine on our route by any means, even if it was there. It's in a hotel.
Agree.
So I think we need to do ourselves a favor and manually type in to Google.
When the couple turned over their travel schedule to an artificial intelligence, this was not the kind of interaction they had imagined. Tension notwithstanding, they proceeded to Burns Lake, the next AI-suggested location. Once more, though, they turned to human intuition and real-time research to locate a suitable spot. ChatGPT lacked local understanding, current information, and nuance, even if it provided broad direction. Another poutine stop, it advised, proved to be a long-gone listing, discovered only in ancient Yellow Page data. On their own, they finally came upon better choices. Ultimately, the AI-driven travel attempt was more of a warning story than a breakthrough. Absolutely. It brought them to several picturesque locations and unannounced sightings of animals. 6 moose, along with a black bear. It also made clear how much technology still lacks in terms of precision, safety, and human intuition. What impression of this meeting did you have? Tell me, kindly. Luke from Outdoor Boys is no stranger to tough conditions. He spent years camping, hiking, and pushing through challenges most people wouldn't even dare to try. But in this video, things got seriously intense. He took on the frozen wilderness of Alaska, right as a blizzard was rolling in. Luke set up camp deep in the woods, surrounded by snow-covered trees and total silence. With just a hot tent, a tiny stove, and the gear he carried on his back, he carved out a spot in the snow, gathered frozen firewood, and got to work starting a fire.
All right, we got the water boiling. Time to make some food. Got some beef bouillon cubes, a little bit of salt. I got these little lamb T-bones here, and they're already seasoned. I'm gonna go ahead and cut the bone out and cut off the grizzle, put that in the pot first.
As the sky darkened, he made some herbal tea and cooked up lamb T-bones, the kind of warm, hearty meal you need when you're out in the cold like that. At first, everything felt calm, quiet, peaceful, but that didn't last. Sometime during the night, the storm hit hard. Snow hammered the tent. Trees groaned in the wind.
What a beautiful campsite. This right here is Prince William Sound, one of the most gorgeous parts of Alaska. And this forest here is actually rainforest. They get something like 200 inches of rain every year here. This is one of my favorite places in Alaska. But this storm is getting worse. I think I better get my snowshoes on and get out of here.
By morning, it was clear he needed to get out. The snow was deeper. The trail disappearing fast. He strapped on snowshoes and carefully began his escape through the forest. But the storm wasn't letting up.
I'm almost to the car. Hopefully I can get it out of the snowdrift. Well, there we go. That's not too buried. I can get that out.
When he finally reached his car, it was almost buried. The roads were frozen over, and visibility nearly gone. But even then, Luke stopped to help a stranded driver stuck in the snow, because that's just who he is. Getting back home wasn't easy. He had to constantly dig through snowdrifts, guiding his car with nothing but a small red shovel, using it to mark a safe path through the whiteout. Eventually, after hours of battling the storm, Luke made it, frozen, exhausted, but safe. That storm could have trapped him out there, but his experience, preparation, and sheer determination got him through. Dan, host of the Cursed Urban YouTube channel, sets out an inquiry after recent claims of a dogman sighting alone in the thick and famed Skinwalker forest, originally an optimistic solo quest for encrypted proof. Dan soon finds himself in one of the most horrific evenings he has ever lived.
Guys, we were back at one of our favorite places, and that is the Skinwalker Forest. Now you may say, Dan, weren't you just at the Skinwalker Forest a couple weeks ago? To that, I would say, you were correct. I was. I think it was even less than 2 weeks ago. But I have returned. Why have I returned? Because we have gotten a recent report of a cryptid sighting in this forest. Now, the name Skinwalker Forest implies that they're skinwalkers, but truth be told, there's multiple reported sightings of cryptids here quite often. This one being of the Dogman. It was a solo hiker hiking along not too far from where I am now when they had the feeling of being watched, looked around and spotted a 7 to 8 foot tall, half man, half dog, looking like all jet black creature. Now with the recent sighting like that, I had to come out and check it out for myself. Will we find anything? Hopefully.
The study starts during daylight, as Dan relates a recent local woman's encounter. Her claim to have seen a towering jet black creature with the head and legs of a dog and the upper body of a man matched Dogman mythology quite closely. Along with Skinwalker legends, Dan notes that this location has several cryptid sightings, like Mothman and Hellhounds. He starts backtracking the hiker into the forest. The atmosphere moves rapidly.
Did you guys hear that? Did you guys just hear that? Dude, that sounded like an animal growl for sure. What was that? Hello? It's quiet, but it's quiet, but it was loud enough. It sounded like where we just came from, like up and over. What was that? It was definitely some sort of growl, without a doubt. Like some sort of like animalistic noise.
The jungle gets more quiet, disturbingly so. As evening sets, Dan notes the unexpected silence in bird calls and starts to hear inexplicable noises. A loud tree knock, a deep growl from behind a bush, and what sounds like whispers. About the 15-minute mark, a guttural animal growl, far too loud and low to be a raccoon or coyote, echoes from the region he just passed. Since Illinois, where the video was shot, does not have wolves or bears, the sound is much more unsettling and terrifying. Dan moves carefully in search of the source of the sound. Spirit talker activity gets more intense as dusk covers the woodland. It mentions the 1900s, Caroline, and finally warns, it is watching you.
The trail is kind of starting to disappear now. Holy what the was that? I just saw something move. Right to left. There's a big black shadow just... I'm intrigued. Just super fast. From that, right there, just out of the corner of my eye, I just saw a shadow move. I know it wasn't the flashlight because I wasn't even pointing my flashlight that way. Yeah, better antagonize it. That's the best. It's the best course of action. Hello? Dude, tonight just popped off. Man, dude, this went from like kind of like a mild investigation to like just crazy stuff, dude.
Only moments before, Dan notices a big black form darting between the trees. Dan says, "It was too enormous, too rapid, too quiet to be anything ordinary, even though it is not precisely seen on tape." Spirit Talker responds with, "Malevolent creatures here," right away, when he enters a seldom visited part of the forest, therefore transforming the energy to become oppressive. Dan spoke of feeling stalked and targeted, even noting that approaching the presence felt like wading across lead. He gets terrified when he sees a big shadow moving left to right ahead of him, and shortly afterward, Spirit Talker utters, "It is me." He hears a loud branch shatter, slightly off target at one point, then total quiet, dead air, and a terrible sense of anxiety only. No breeze or animals. Dan confesses something he hardly speaks. When the research gets to its culmination, he believes he is in actual danger, overwhelmed by Spirit Talker's warnings, loud growls, phantom movement, and ongoing sense of observation. At last, he calls to call off the session and leave the jungle, saying that something evil was out there with him, something that did not want to be seen, but made its presence aggressively known. His last words are fraught with uncertainty, Dan assures back home.
I've never had a shift in like energy like that before. Just like going from one section to another, it just completely different vibe. Just like everything was like, we heard some crazy stuff over there. You know, we heard the tree knocks. We heard just, you know, we heard like a branch break, but like then coming over here, like it was just the answers that we're getting on Spirit Talker, the just, I don't know, it was like the, oh man, oh, I wish I could convey the feeling better than just me explaining it, but it was heavy. That's the word. The air, it was just heavy, and it started right away when it said bad entities here. And then I hear that growl, and then I hear the stick break, and
he has never felt anything quite like what he encountered in that particular part of the forest. This one felt different than other studies, where dread sometimes gave way to logical skepticism. This early reels, not only frightening, but also threatening, were the growl, whispers, shadow, and foreboding Spirit Talker messages. Dan stops the video, appreciative of his intuition, guiding his departure. What impression of this experience did you have? Tell me about your opinions. Natasha, host of the Quest Out West YouTube channel, posted a very intimate and anxiety-ridden trip into the British Columbia wilderness on April 11th, 2023. One that started with hopeful ambition and finished in fear, loneliness, and a humble re-evaluation of single life. Living full-time in a Dodge Grand Caravan with her 3 dogs, Natasha left in quest of a free camping area outside of Squamish. After building up supplies, she followed a GPS path to a site she discovered on the app iOverlander. The temperature was at last warm enough for exploration. But what started out as a normal journey soon became far more unsettling.
I'm starting to get a little nervous because we seem to be driving out a lot further than I anticipated. I'm following my GPS that's guiding me to a place that I saw on iOverlander. Feels like we're just driving forever into the abyss. And yep, I'm a little nervous. We just turned off the highway. This is where we are, and there are people here, so I know that I won't die. That's good.
Natasha got more nervous as she kept moving further away from the main route. The road grew smaller, the ground grew rougher, and the surroundings grew more isolated. Full-blown fear was set off when a precipitous drop-off along a cliffside trail left no space for a turnaround. Her van, poorly suited for rough terrain, started sliding downhill. Terrified, she turned away the effort and chose to go back to Cat Lake, a more known and reachable place. Natasha's nervousness persisted, even after parking in what looked to be a safe spot, close to a fork in the road.
I'm stunned and stressed out at the same time. Check this out. That is stunning. But at the same time, I'm concerned that in the middle of the night that we're going to accidentally roll down the hill or something. Or maybe even just get hit by somebody else coming down this road. And I'm scared to go further in because I don't know if this car can handle these roads. So this is where we are. We're gonna stay here and have dinner and then figure out the next step. I'm a little close to the road, but I was also afraid while I was parking that I was gonna like either drive off the cliff or get stuck in a pothole or something. All of these things would not be good. Is that a crashed plane? I don't think it's a plane, but it might be a crashed RV. Somebody that actually did go off this edge. So it's an authentic.
She was on edge because of the disturbing topography, the presence of abandoned vehicles, maybe including a crashed RV, and the uncertainty over whether she was in a legitimate camping area. Her anxiety was not unfounded. She wondered if the previous car she saw had indeed gone off the edge.
Do you hear that? Do you hear that? Is that supposed to be a bird? Because it sounds like the predator. I truly don't feel safe here. I'm slowly taking things out of the van because I'm trying to find something to prop up the camp stove with, because this is going to hang off the side if I put them here. And as I'm doing this, I realize how I'm becoming increasingly more vulnerable as I take stuff out of the van. It's not like I could just slam the door shut and take off, because I gotta put all this stuff back in the van. And then I'm hearing this weird ass sound from the woods. Okay, there are people coming. Either they're coming to give me company or kill me. We're gonna find out. Stay tuned. So they didn't kill me, but they didn't stay. They all went up that road that I was afraid to go up. Good news is, I think I figured out the camp stove thing. I think we're gonna do this. I think this works.
A fresh layer of anxiety surfaced as she started to set up her camp stove on top of her cat carriers in an effort to maximize resources. Oddly human noises came from the wilderness. Natasha froze in her tracks, high-pitched, and strange, like the Predator movie creature. She felt nothing safe. Then there was the sound of people walking toward her. Her instincts for fight or flight took hold. Fortunately, the folks passed her without incident, headed up the same deactivated route. She had previously been too scared to travel, but their presence only heightened her anxiety. Alone and growing more sensitive, Natasha battled the need to pack everything under, run away. While making a small dinner, her imagination fixed on the worst-case scenarios: sliding down a cliff, getting caught in the mud, running across wild animals, or mechanical trouble in a location where cell service was erratic and help far off. She even questioned the romance around wild camping. What had appeared like a fantasy of rediscovering nature had transformed into a night of terror.
I started driving. The sign in front of me told me that I can't turn left, so I turned right. And it's pitch black, no lights on the side of the road. I have trouble seeing at night. I really don't like driving at night. And then I start realizing there's nowhere to pull off and nowhere to turn around for like forever, and I'm possibly going to end up in Whistler. Then on top of it, a truck starts driving behind me, really right up on my butt, like tailgating me, and with his high beams on or whatever, and he's doing it on purpose. And I'm going like 85 in a 90. It's not like I'm going too slow. I'm just going too slow for him. And I finally saw a turnoff for a lookout, but he was right on my ass. I couldn't even slow down, so he almost ran me off the road, and there was nothing else I could do.
In fact, Natasha gave up on her intention to sleep at the far-off location as darkness descended. Every stir in the forest sounded like a threat. Shoving everything back into the van quickly, she hurried to tidy. The last drive into the evening turned out to be equally terrifying. She worried about getting run off the road, as she couldn't see clearly, and with a tailgate truck angrily riding her bumper. At last, she arrived at a known Walmart parking lot, her nighttime refuge. She would not tell exactly what she did upon arriving, but the connotation was obvious. Now, safety, not adventure, took front stage, weary and emotionally spent. Natasha finished the day, not sure whether she will try another outdoor solo camp anytime soon. The drive had presented her with only reminders of the dangers inherent in trusting instinct over infrastructure and solitude over help, not with tranquility.